Good evening and welcome to the evening news. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. The federal government says it is considering the alternative funding for infrastructure through public-private partnerships using the capital market arrangement in collaboration with the World Bank. According to the government, the projects being targeted are roads, information technology, health, education, transport, and agriculture sectors. Reports say the government goes outside the budgetary revenue to fund projects due to the huge amount of money required to bridge the infrastructure deficits, including bonds, private firms, financing, and long-term loans from multilateral organizations. Acting head of media and publicity, RCRC, Ifeanyi Nwoko, confirmed the officials of the World Bank and those of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission have been meeting to perfect the plan. According to him, discussions have centered on ways to develop and unlock Nigeria's capital market. Meanwhile, budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure for the year 2025 will be judiciously spent to complete ongoing road projects across Osun State, with the launch of new infrastructural projects in all nooks and crannies of the state. The Permanent Secretary, Osun State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Bashir Bello, disclosed this when he featured on Imole Ayo, an enlightenment program which promotes the activities of Governor Adeleke's administration on OSBC channels. Engineer Bello, who spoke through the Director of Highways, Engineer Maruf Ojebode, mentioned a few of the new road projects to include dual carriageway from Ikirun to Ilaodo, Osogbo to Iwo, and the first ever dual carriageway into Iwo Township. He added that the ongoing road projects and new ones will be done simultaneously in line with Governor Adeleke's resolve to expand the infrastructure across the state. According to the Permanent Secretary, Works and Infrastructure, government will intensify efforts on the construction of intercity and intra-city roads this year to ease the stress being encountered by people traveling within the state. He added that under the Imole Light Up Osun, solar-powered lights will be installed on all and local state government roads that have been completed, pointing out that installation of poles has already begun on newly constructed Shasha Market Road along Uniosun Main Campus, Osogbo. The Federal High Court in Lagos State has affirmed that the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has statutory authority to regulate competition and consumer protection across all sectors, including telecommunications. The judgment delivered by Justice Friday Ogazi reinforced the FCCPC's mandate as the primary authority responsible for preventing anti-competitive practices and protecting consumers in Nigeria in line with Section 17 and 18 of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act 2018. The case was instituted by Emeka Nnubia, a lawyer and shareholder of MTN, who sought to halt the FCCP's investigation into MTN Nigeria. Representing himself, Nnubia argued that the FCCPC's inquiry could violate data protection laws, that regulatory authority over MTN resided with the NCC rather than the FCCPC. The ruling clarifies that Section 90 of the Nigerian Communications Act 2003, which grants the NCC jurisdiction over the competition matters within the telecom industry, must be read alongside Section 104 of the FCCPA 2018, which establishes FCCPC as the primary regulatory authority on competition and consumer protection across all sectors. The court held that the FCCPA, being the later legislation, supersedes conflicting provisions of the NCA 2003 to the extent that they seek to exclude the FCCPC's oversight in the telecommunications industry. The court's decision affirmed that the NCC does not have exclusive competition regulatory authority in telecommunications, adding that both regulators now share concurrent jurisdiction, ensuring a coordinated approach to fair competition and consumer welfare in the telecom industry. The ruling reaffirmed that FCCPC's jurisdiction remains paramount in competition and consumer protection matters, while also recognizing the role of the NCC in regulating telecommunications operations. Minister of Foreign Affairs Ambassador Yusuf Tugar has announced the diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Bahrain that it will be focused on strengthening diplomatic relations, facilitating foreign direct investment. A statement by his media aide Al-Qasim Abdulkadir said Tugar engaged in bilateral discussion with his Bahraini counterpart Dr. Abdulatif bin Rashid Al Zayani of the Kingdom of Bahrain, noting that the two countries engaged in bilateral discussions on diplomatic and direct foreign investment. He explained that the bilateral talks was to enhance trade and investment opportunities and foster cooperation in the oil and gas sectors, with particular emphasis on the onshore projects and the development of 8th train LNG. The ministers also deliberated on the training of Nigerian diplomats and collaboration within multilateral fora. Oba Alua of Erioke, Oba Akintola Ayodeji, will tomorrow morning receive staff of office from Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke. Venue of the program is Irepodun High School, Erioke. The royal father of the day is the Oni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitonguwuse, while the deputy governor of Benue State and the former governor of Osun State, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, as well as Senator Adenigba Fadahunsi and Honorable Oke, are expected at the ceremony as special guests. While on sports scene, the Nigeria Basketball Federation has announced a 24-man D Tigers provisional roster for the crucial final window 2025 AfroBasket qualifiers, scheduled to hold later this month in Tripoli, Libya. The roster made public over the weekend include 11 players from 4 clubs in the domestic league, with champions Rivers Hoopers having the lion's share of 5 players. One of the biggest clubs on the domestic front, Hoops and Raid, has 3 on the list, while Wisdom Anyaoha and Ryan Al-Salis from Boko City Chief is joined by customs shooting guard Ibe Agu. According to the roster, the 11 home-based players will be supported by 13 other players from Europe, Asia, and Africa for the first phase of the Tigers campaign in Abuja. The foreign-based players are from Croatia, France, Ghana, Italy, Japan, Kosovo, Latvia, Poland, Russia, and Spain. Italy, Japan, and Spain have 2 players each. Coach Abdurrahman Mohammed and a streak of Tigers are expected to report to Bentley Hotel in Utaku District in Abuja from today and will spend a week together before heading to Libya. Moving on to the foreign scene, Libyan authorities have uncovered nearly 50 bodies from 2 mass graves in the country's southeastern desert. According to officials, 19 bodies were found in a farm in the city of Kufra. Authorities posted images on social media showing police officers and medics digging in the sand and recovering dead bodies that were wrapped in blankets. Reports say it is the latest tragedy involving people seeking to reach Europe from the North African country. Migrant mass graves are not uncommon in Libya, while authorities unearthed the bodies of at least 65 migrants last year in the Shurav region, 350 kilometers south of the capital, Tripoli. Libya is the main transit point for migrants from Africa and the Middle East trying to make it to Europe, as human traffickers have benefited from more than a decade of instability, smuggling migrants across the country's borders with 6 countries including Chad, Niger, Sudan, Egypt, Algeria, and Tunisia. And that ends the evening news on OSBC TV. Do join us at 7 for the major reports. Good evening.